Hi guys, it's Stephanie from Shimmering Bodies. What I have for you today is a tarot card reading with channeled messages, and this is in honor of what is healing over this next lunar cycle. So we're looking at going from the full moon that's happening tonight for the month of February and going into the next full moon, which will happen in March. And so what I did is I pulled some cards, these 3 cards here, that just have to do with the collective and what everybody's going through at this time. And I also divided the reading out into astrological signs. So we have the air signs, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. You can also go to the Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. For the water signs, the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, or to the earth signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And you can pick your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or just pick one of the card stacks that makes sense for you. You can choose any of those readings, and the link for those readings will be posted below. So just of what's the collective going through at this time is we're still going through a great deal of confusion and challenges and healing when we have to be on our toes. So this is about a time of not knowing what the future holds, of having to go within to intuit what are the best next steps to move forward, and to not get too caught up in the challenges of it all, because there are still great challenges that have occurred and that will be occurring, and to be really wise in all the actions that we take at this time with great and meticulous attention to detail, because whatever we're doing now is the step that moves us forward into what happens next. So we really want to be very aware of what we're setting up, and also to remember to just practice kindness with others always, because we don't know what they're going through or how all these stresses have affected people. And as a whole, we're just all going through a great amount of fatigue and just that inner challenges where you have to pull yourself up from your bootstraps. So go ahead and look at the links below and choose a reading accordingly. Again, you have the water signs, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, beautiful air signs, Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius, the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, as well as the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. This is a tarot card reading with channeled messages for the water element, the astrological signs of Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer. This could be your rising sign, your moon sign, your sun sign, or even if you're just feeling in a watery kind of elemental mood. Before we flip over the cards, I just wanted to let you know that first what I do is I do a little bit of channeling, and what I was picking up for you is just the image of seaweed that grows from the bottom of the ocean, from the ocean floor, and it's looking and kind of searching for the sunlight, and it's growing upwards and upwards and upwards still. And that's kind of an image that came to me, and I was getting this very watery vibe, but instead of the lotus, which kind of grows, its roots are going down and searching through the darkness and looking to anchor into the deep ground of the underneath the water. This is opposite. This is like a kelp or something that's growing up from the ocean floor, the metaphor of looking for light and just streaming and flowing with the water on the ascent upwards. So I feel you're in an energetic ascension. And I was also thinking about prisms and rainbows, and how prisms are like reflections of the sun. And so, when the sun hits the prism takes all the different angles and throws it off and casts different lights and makes a rainbow. So I was thinking about that. I was also really feeling into the heart area of the body, as well as the throat. And then I was thinking about the kidneys and the bladder. And I was thinking about the kind of meandering energy of the seaweed growing up through the ocean, but also adding in the idea that it could stop and start as it wants to. So I was thinking about just knowing your boundaries and when you need to kind of slow things down, and I came up with the word pause. And so it's the concept of like stopping and starting and pausing so that you feel comfortable in this ascension that you're going through at this time. So I was also picking up on the colors blue-green, which goes with our oceanic theme, and of course this is water signs. But I was really thinking about that everything that's happening right now is really hitting you on such deep levels that you may never consciously understand. So I was thinking about deep feelings, deep shiftings, things that require really deep trust and deep faith. And I thought about spirituality and going into spiritual practices to find your center, and also thinking about these aha moments that you have when you do have a spiritual practice, and thinking about the reflection that I was talking about earlier. When you have a self-reflective practice, you can have aha moments to figure out what's going on with you. And so there's also a little bit of a inner discovery process going on where you're really finding yourself in new ways that you've never found before, and you're carving time out for yourself to have solitude and to really dream and hope for the future. And I think if you don't have that practice, I'm thinking that's really important for you right now, is to really just be in that wavering energy. It's anchored on the ocean floor, but it's moving and it's searching and knowing when to pause and stop and start, and to keep reaching and hoping and dreaming. And so one thing that might be coming up also is sort of like challenges that come from feeling disconnected from people, disconnected from ways of being, disconnected from people, places, and things. So I'm kind of picking up on a disconnection from things that you love or from people that you love. So look at that and try to identify for yourself where that's coming up for you. And I think you'll learn from that what you need to. And again, look back into the reflective power, because we're all just mirrors for each other. And the moon reflects the light of the sun. And so that's the mode that we're in with this full moon. So what you're doing is you're seeking a release and you're purging and cleansing on really deep levels. So I was getting that you need to really focus on eating light and clean foods, maybe incorporate some salty foods into your diets, a little bit of seaweed, things that are rich in minerals, rich in iron. I was getting also the need to take in omega oils, and specifically thinking about greens, green juices, lime juice, coconut, and then also the essential oil of rosewood oil, and the cleansing properties of Palo Santo. So if you can get your hands on some rosewood oil and just put that in the bath, that would be very healing for you. And also just burning some Palo Santo and really thinking about the things that you're ready to release, and just spending time with introspection. All right, so moving into the reading, I was really picking up on two different collectives. So first I'll flip the first set of cards, and then I'll flip the second set of cards. So we'll just get these going over here. All right, so this is the forgiveness card. It says, I forgive myself, I am forgiven. So those angels above her that are pulling this light around her, and the bunnies that are below her, protecting her. The rabbits represent fears that you may or may not consciously realize that you have. And the angels are protecting you at this time and wrapping you in light. And all you need to do is to ask for forgiveness, and you don't need to know what the forgiveness is for, because the angels know. And so there's a mantra. It's, I forgive myself, I forgive myself, I forgive myself, I am forgiven. I forgive myself, I forgive myself, I forgive myself, I am forgiven. So that's something that you can work with. And again, like I said, you don't need to know what you're forgiving yourself for. You might know, that's great, but if not, just focus on all the things that you can let go of and forgive yourself for. We all carry so much around with us all the time. All right, so then I pulled this crystal card, Golden Topaz, and it says, I step forward with joy and enthusiasm. I see my path shining brightly before me. So this is a card about remembering the joy in life. I think that's one of the collective themes that keep coming up, is just where can we all find pleasure, since, right now there's a lot of joys and pleasures have been taken from us. So the mantra on the back of this card says to visualize life purpose, amplify joy and bliss, improve ability to speak up, cultivate ease, process all that is happening around and within. And I love this yellow color, so cheerful. All right, I'm gonna flip this one back over because I like this picture here, so you can look at that golden topaz. All right, so this is, you got the love. It's Hadrian energy, codependency, and boundaries. And the Hadrian group is basically star seeds that are, they're lovers. They're so empathetic and so beautiful and so kind that they don't always know how to create boundaries for themselves. So this is just a reminder to look at those areas where you might have codependency, and to remember to think about what your boundaries are. This is a big time in which you're learning about your boundaries, what you will and won't tolerate, and then the universe will be testing you and giving you situations in which you will have to lay down your boundaries and demand self-respect. And there's ways to do this that are kind and loving, and for empathic people and people that are just very kind in general, it's good to remember that boundaries are necessary, because you must take care of yourself before you can truly take care of other people. All right, so the next card, the Seven of Autumn, is sort of saying that everything's gonna be okay, and that you just need to have patience and trust in what's going to happen. He's a little fairy boy sitting on top of this pumpkin, and basically it's saying to take time to rest and plan for your next steps. And as you can see, he's holding 2 apples, and he's eating one. And for me, this is really about being careful with your resources. And it says at the bottom of the card, a prudent investment of time or money. So this is just saying to be careful about your resources, financially especially, I'm picking up, but also just resources in general. Energy is a currency, and you have to be careful who you interact with and who you give yourself to. So I feel like this card and the card that came before it kind of are, just asking you to look at like who you're keeping company with and what sort of boundaries you have, and about keeping resources for yourself, because you're going to need those. The rainy day has come, and so now you need to continue to be wise about how you use your resources. The Child of Challenges, the children in this deck, they're very curious, and they're obviously youthful, and they might not have the maturity or wisdom. But the Child of Challenges card is saying that if you feel lost and you feel emotionally vulnerable and you feel like you have a lot going on and you feel overwhelmed, that it's best not to run through the forest every which way and forget where you came from, but it's best to sit down and recount your steps and figure out what your game plan is for where you want to go and what you want to do and who you want to be next. So that was the first group of people that I was picking up on, sort of just learning how to work within your set of boundaries and being wise about how you want to move forward, giving yourself self-forgiveness and finding joy and enthusiasm while watching your resources. Now, there was a second collective of people for this sign. I really felt drawn to pull additional cards because I feel like that message will be for some people and this message will be for other people. I was also picking up on that message could be what's happening in your life in a very mundane way, and this could be drilled into like a higher self or a like a higher vibration of who you are. So these are the cards. All right, so close your eyes and feel the pure, raw energy of this creative life force. That's what this card says. It says that love is all around you. You may or may not be in a relationship. Excuse me. But just to remind you that love is a universal energy and it can be had by anybody. It's not something that you need another person to experience. Self-love is its own journey, but just love in itself is the energy. It's basically the baseline of all energy. Love is an energy. I'm trying to figure out how to say this, but it's a vibration. So you can choose to be in that vibration, and you can hold your heart and just connect with your heart space and think about all the beautiful things that you love. They don't even need to be people. It could be places, things, times of year, times of day, and it creates this uplifted sense of having love in your heart. So I want you to focus on that. And We the Hathors is about the universal mother and about being held. And it says deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. So it's a deep card about femininity and about the possibility of giving life and of nurturing. So this is a card about nurturing yourself, about nurturing each other's. I always feel like when I get this card, these are like my ancestors looking over me, and somebody's watching over you whether you realize it or not. And there's love out there for you whether you realize it or not. You know, not everybody's got a good relationship with their parents, but I think at the end of the day, there is deep love within family and friends for everybody, regardless of your situation. And then aside from that, the universe, the Mother Earth and the cosmos, they're all this divine source that you can draw that love energy from. And the wheel is like the Wheel of Fortune. It's just saying that the tides are going to turn, and that's coming sooner than you think. 10 is like the number for being at the end of a cycle. So this is indicative of being at the end of a cycle and of having good luck and kind of like a change, a sudden change in your luck cycles. So sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. The Wheel of Fortune usually just means that is turning for you. So if you've been down on your luck, this will be a time when things will start to turn around for you. You just have to be patient. All right, and then we have this beautiful Keeper of Visions cards, and this is related to masculine energy. The keepers in this deck are basically wizards, and they wield certain powers. And this is the salmon, and the salmon is said to be like the oldest fish in some folklore tales. And it says that he holds the wisdom of the world, which also the whale, I think, a lot of people believe the whale holds the wisdom of the world with the Akashic records as well. So this is about seeing what's underneath the surface and just going deeper. And it's got that kind of oceanic plants growing from the bottom, going to the top that I was talking about. It's also a fish, which is very Piscean. So this is just saying to go within yourself. That's where the answers lie. And now is a good time to have a little meditation practice and to go on the deep dive within yourself to sort things out, and that anything that you are not in peace with yourself about will be resolved through going within. All right, and then the last card here is the Lapis Lazuli, which is such a beautiful stone. So it's, I receive messages all the time and follow my internal guidance system. This is about following your intuition and, again, spending time in reflection and introspection to figure out what you need to do to move forward. So it says to activate your intuition, to be a clear channel, to access the Akashic records, to stay grounded, to feel protected and safe, to promote clarity in the dream time. So yes, so that's what I'm feeling for these. And I hope that made sense for you. I did want to end the reading with a little quote that I found for you in honor of the full moon. So it says, "Yours is the light by which my spirit's born. You are my sun, my moon, and all my stars." That's by E.E. Cummings. All right, well, I hope you got something from this reading, and if not, then you can just pick one of the other ones that I have posted for this full moon healing cycle.